This is Josh Coburn with Chamberlain Real Estate and Mission One Property Management. And today, I want to give you a market rent report for Q3 of 2023. Did you know in California, if you own property and you have a renter there, you're restricted from raising the rent over 10% per year. Actually, the max is 5% plus the CPI. And currently, right now, in Q3 of 2023, that's 5% plus 3.2. That's 8.2% is the maximum you could raise rent for your properties. That being said, it's important to think about, in all of the US, this quarter, the last 3 months, 73% of cities have seen rental rates increase. 19% of all cities actually had increases over 10%. So, when you do the math, what that actually means is there's more rental inventory coming on the market than existed before because they're going over the 10% cap rate. I get asked this question all the time. Am I charging enough rent for my rental? What should I be charging? What's market rent? Well, I can run analysis on that. I can find the statistics and I can tell you what market rent is. Unfortunately, if you're an owner landlord and you haven't been raising your rent every year, I would venture to guess that you're probably vastly below what your actual market rent is. I find that way more often than I find someone is actually at market rent. With that idea in mind, let's actually look at some of the top cities that you may know of here in Orange County and a little bit of LA and how much their rental rates have increased year to year. First, Irvine's at 4%. Fullerton's at 5%. I'll go to my notes here. We got Huntington Beach is at 10%. Long Beach is at 13%. Lakewood's at 11%. Costa Mesa's at 6%. Anaheim, we'll get back to Anaheim. LA's at 5%, which I found was actually pretty fair. They're actually under their maximum. And Riverside's at 11%. Anaheim, 28%. Yeah, back to Anaheim. So how in the world could Anaheim in California, how could their rental rate change from last year to this year, Q3 to Q3, 28%? I'll tell you how. Follow with me for a second. If rent was $1,000 and it rose 28%, how much would that be? $1,280 now. Whoa, that's a lot. In Anaheim, what that means is more new rental inventory came on market than there was before. That's the only way for them statistically to publish higher average rent rates for single-family homes than the year prior. That means what people have probably been talking about in your neighborhood and in your circles is that more and more families are holding on to their homes and not selling in this low-volume real estate market, which you've probably heard of as well. More families are holding on to their homes and choosing to rent than they are selling and moving on. And a big reason for that is interest rates. Interest rates have gone so high, anyone who's locked down at a good interest rate, a lower interest rate, they don't want to let go of their beautiful interest rate. That's like gold to them. That being said, that means that all these other markets, like Long Beach at 13%, Lakewood at 11%, Riverside at 11%, and there's a half dozen others that are over 10%, also are holding on to their inventory, they're holding on to their houses, and that means that they're choosing to rent when normally someone who was an owner was living in that house. So I go back to a term that's been thrown out a lot in the last few years, and that is that we're moving towards a renter economy. So why am I talking about all this? Why is it important to understand these statistics? It's important because your property is important. Your asset is important to be taken care of properly, and it's important for it to cash flow effectively. What do you think happens when California sets hard caps on how much you can raise the rent? What ends up happening is you have whole cities choosing, on average, to raise their rents as maximum as possible and over in order to keep up with this racing inflation rate, to keep up with this increasing cost of living here in our coastal communities. But I digress. I just want to summarize by saying rents have been going up. Cost of living has been going up for you and your renters. And the value of your property, contrary to popular belief, is higher than it's ever been before. So now, more than ever, It's important for your asset to be taken care of by professionals like us here at Chamberlain Real Estate and my team with Mission One Property Management. So this is Josh Coburn with Chamberlain Real Estate and Mission One Property Management. If you ever want to reach out, feel free to text me at my number in the contact details below. You can email or you can call. Anything, I can get your questions answered, and we'd be happy to serve you one day. Take care.